Mic check, mic check. Morning Masters Podcast. Your main course. Got a special guest across from me. If you don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Tell them who you are, where you're from.
Hello, my name is Lakeland Barnes. I am born and raised in Augusta. I always tell people that I was Augusta raised, but Atlanta made. I went there for college. I ain't get my degree out of Atlanta. I actually got my degree from Savannah State, but I had a time. I had a time. So yeah.
You said you're from Augusta. So tell me just about your background a little bit, like your upbringing.
I like to tell people I kind of grew up in the suburbs a little bit. I lived all the way out in Hepzibah for the better part of my younger years, like the part of Hepzibah where the cows are. I went to McBean Elementary, then I went to Hepzibah Middle School, and if you know, I went to A.R. Johnson.
What that mean? If you know, you know. What does that mean? What does that mean?
If you went to A.R. Johnson with me, you know we had a time. I was bad. Let me just say it like that. I was bad. I was real bad. So much so they kicked your girl out of school. I know people shouldn't say that. They kicked you out of
A.R. Johnson?
They kicked me out of A.R. Johnson. I was bad.
What you were doing?
What didn't I do? I was bad. Like, I locked teachers out of classrooms.
When you did that, did you taught you in the classroom or no?
Mm-hmm.
You taught the classroom after that or no? You taught the classroom? So you locked them out and did what? You just sat down?
No, I locked them out of the classroom. We just doing whatever. It just depended on what we felt like doing. I locked teachers out of classrooms.
Was this like all your life or just when you got to A.R. Johnson?
It was just 1 year in my entire life, just my 8th grade year, and that's it.
Oh, what was going on?
I don't know. You just get into that one stage of I'm gonna be bad for a year. That's what it was for me 8th grade year. I was just doing bad stuff. They kicked me out of A.R. Johnson. I went to Morgan Road. It ain't really get too much better there. I still was a little bad, but they kind of let me get away with stuff because I was a student. I came from A.R. Johnson, which is sad to say, but they did. Then I went to Cross Creek, and I was the best kid ever. I did not get in trouble. It was like I turned over a new leaf, and yeah.
If thinking about it, in like as an adult now, like what you think it was that made you change your behavior?
Honestly, I don't think that there was anything that made me change my behavior. It was literally like a switch flipped in my brain, was just like, we're not doing that no more. And also, I've always kind of low-key been a goody two-shoes. So even the fact that I was being bad was outside of my character. So it was really like I was just getting back in line with who I was. I was not that kid that got in trouble a lot or got suspended. So the fact that I got expelled was kind of like, what's going on with you? Because you're really pushing it. You ain't never done nothing like this before.
What were they saying at home? Like, what was home life like anyway? Let me get to that. What was home life like? Mom and dad, only mom, only dad. Like,
so I had my mom and my stepdad. I am the second oldest of 7 kids, but I'm the oldest girl, so that make you the oldest child. If you the oldest girl, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Gotcha, one of those.
And yeah, I think at the time, part of it might have just been that because I was always low-key partially mom, I think it was just my way of rebelling, like being able to do little kid stuff, because before I was just always having to be like semi-adult, having to take on partially part of that mom role. And so I think me just acting out was my way of being able to say like, I'm a kid and I want to do kid stuff.
Now I'm just asking this question. I don't you just, but like, so 7 kids is a lot. I think 3 should be max. After that, I think you should just start having different conversations. But did you feel like you got attention?
Did I get attention? I'll say no, but it's also like when you have a lot of kids, you got to kind of figure out which ones need the most attention and which ones don't. Yeah. Like I was not that kid that needed a lot of like direction. If you told me to do something, either I did it or I didn't. And if I didn't do it, it's because I just chose not to, not because I needed help doing that. Like, or I didn't need help with homework. That was never a thing for me.
What kind of attention did you get when you started acting out? like at home? Did they give you more attention at
They
home?
did. Like, because now it's like, what are you doing? Now they want to focus on you. And it wasn't, when I started getting in trouble, I realized it wasn't like the attention that I wanted per se. It was.
But you did want attention though.
I did want
Okay,
attention, but
gotcha.
I just ain't want that type of attention. I realized, like, I thought maybe if I just, I don't know, maybe getting in trouble and maybe I'll get a little bit more attention. Maybe they'll pay a little bit more attention to me outside of being a caretaker. They'll see me like as a daughter.
Yeah.
But I got it and I was just like, that's not the kind of attention I want, because you're not coddling me or giving me hugs. It's like, I'm getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So all right. So now I got somewhere. So describe. I asked this question. Describe Cross Creek. You know, I like Cross Creek. I ain't like a Cross Creek hater or nothing like that. But you know, I got your ways. So describe, what was Cross Creek like for you? And you told me. You came out of a good class, 2015.
We was the last good class. I'm sorry, 2016 and after, y'all acted a fool. Cross Creek was different. I can say that. It's a different high school experience compared to other high schools in the area. Because if we're going to be honest, the racial demographic is there. You know, you have majority of the students are either white or black. And then though the students who are white are a little bit more country white, is, you know, and that, I think that you got to take that into account, because we had things like camo days at school. Why? Only reason we wearing camo is because that is something that's a part of their culture, which ain't nothing wrong with it. That kind of did, you know, play into the culture of Cross Creek. But I can just say that this gonna sound bad. I don't know if you can.
So definitely say it.
But redneck culture is a thing, and it played into what Cross Creek was. You see that even in the fact we have FFA, FFA, Future Farmers of America, something like that. Yeah, like it's really a country school, but they also have like urban students.
Nah, I like that what you said, okay. I do think that open your horizon to like another side of the world, or just the demographic and what cultures like certain things. So I do like that. Yeah,
like it was nice because you get to see. This is me just being honest. As a black person growing up, you hear all white people are bad or they can be racist. But going to a school like that, you realize they're not. Like, they really are just regular people. You know, I remember like supporting a lot of people who didn't look like me. And we still friends to this day. You know what I'm saying? And then you did have the ones who might have fed into racist stuff, but they were very few, far and in between. So my experience at Cross Creek kind of let me know that even though society may say one thing, reality is different.
Yeah,
people show up differently.
I would be curious to ask a white person that went to Cross Creek around this time what they thought as well, because I'm sure, like, especially in Augusta, I don't think it's taught about a lot, but they kind of be outnumbered in a lot of the schools, unless you go into Columbia County area. You know, but if you come Butler, you go to Josie, Laney, Cross Creek. Even ARC to an extent, those are predominantly black schools, but you got white kids that go to those schools as well. So I wonder how they see that race from what they taught in the household, and then when they finally go to school. So that I wonder. I don't know a lot of white people, so I can't really ask too many people. But the ones I know, they pretty much black. So I don't know. Like they act like me. So I don't know. Okay, and so what's some things you did inside Cross Creek? Because I hear Cross Creek being a school that's like really about academics for the most part. I mean, I know they more known now for sports. Now
they are.
They won a state. They won 2 state championships.
Well, congratulations to y'all.
Yeah, clap it up to y'all.
To y'all.
No, to y'all. You from Cross Creek?
Yeah.
You gonna Razorback?
Razorback pride. Yeah, congratulations to us.
The girls won, I think, and the boys won.
The girls always win.
Yeah, they won a state.
Yeah.
And then now I think right now they got one of the best boys teams in the area. So yeah.
Congratulations. That's better than what we had.
No, yeah, because when I went to school down here, that wasn't the thing. Cross Creek on your schedule was like, you thought it was gonna be a good win. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I do like that, but I always remember Cross Creek. For me now, this is, and I always tell people this, like, I never hated it, but like, it was always annoying because you might joke, "Oh, you go to CrossFit, da, da," and they always say, "Well, we got good test scores." And I'm like, "All right, calm down."
Okay, like we get it.
Yeah, yeah. But now, as I get older now, any people that like you got people that came from there that's successful. I just use one right now, Jordan Johnson, of course. And I look at, okay, well, what happened there to get him to where he at now? You know, so like, what were some things you did in school that they offered in school that you took advantage of to kind of lead you on that path to success after high school?
I'll say the major thing was ROTC.
Oh,
Cross Creek has a really, really good ROTC program. Matter of fact, they're known as an ROTC magnet school. So people, like, if you want to go into the Army, a lot of people now suggest you go to Cross Creek. Oh, not into the Army, I mean, but into the military in general. They suggest you go to Cross Creek to kind of get that ROTC experience. And so I did a lot of that, a lot of ROTC.
oh, you was in ROTC,
I was in ROTC.
so yeah, you had to wear uniforms.
I was wearing, and I ain't gonna lie to you, the way that Cross Creek sets it up, you feel pride wearing that uniform. You really do. Like we took pride. We felt like we was going away to war every Wednesday. so, so yeah, like that was one of the things. I also did show choir.
You can sing?
I can sing in a choir.
We had that conversation a little minute ago. Episode like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we were saying that like people in the choir sometimes can't really sing, but somehow, some way, y'all sound good all together. So.
Yeah. I
It's
sound
crazy how
good
that
with
works.
a group.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Can you hold a note?
Yeah, now that I can do. I can hold a note. I'm not finna do it on camera. Y'all ain't gonna laugh
No,
at me.
it's debatable, but I ain't gonna do it like that. I got you. People say I can hold a note, and I'm like, what note can you hold? Well, I got you.
Oh, I don't know. Now you going too deep.
I know.
I don't know that.
But you was in the choir. How was that? What was that like?
It was fun because around that time, that's when Glee came out. So
Glee.
now I'm really in my Glee bag. I'm feeling like I'm one of the characters on the TV show. So for me, it was cool. Like I was like, yeah, guys, like life is a TV show currently. Like cameras are following me.
That's funny.
Don't ask me why I felt like that.
Which character were you in your mind?
Actually, the main character, I forget her name, but she's the little skinny nerdy girl.
Never watched Glee a day in my life. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I heard of the show, so I'm gonna find it. Though. I'm trying to put together. I'm trying to put something together when I see that.
And you're gonna be like, "Oh, that's what you're talking about." Okay, yeah.
Oh, and then I know you say y'all were pride like with the ROTC, but like, what did that teach you for like being in ROTC during the? You did all 4 years?
I did it 3 years. I didn't do it my senior year.
Oh man.
No, because I was gonna do it my
you wanted to
senior
have fun?
year. It ain't even about having fun. It was now, like, in your senior year, they give you more freedom. Like, you really do get to choose your own classes.
Yeah.
I was like, if I get to choose, well, I'm going to make the choice and I do it. It was kind of dumb. I actually should have did it my 12th grade year, but I didn't. But it teaches you structure because I wasn't just in ROTC. I also was a part of our drill team. So the drill team is consisted of like the actual people who do the drill. They basically twirl guns, and then you have the academic team.
Those okay, yeah, that they be twisting them.
Yeah, like Cadet
that,
Kelly. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. And then you have the academic team, and then you have the athletic team. And I was on the academic team, and even though you're just on the academic team, you still also have to keep up with the athletic team too. So we always were. They were always making us push ourselves. So whatever our best score was the day before, we got to beat that score. So it was always about being better than yourself. Like I said, professionalism, knowing like when you show up, make sure that your collar, it ain't up, it's down, or that your shoes are actually shiny. Things like small stuff like that. They taught you attention to detail. And it also taught you what it means like, because when you're ROTC and your instructor yelling at you, you can say something back because we have free will, but what does that get you? Where does that get you? And so it taught us, or at least it taught me, respect authority even if you don't like the way they talking to you. Sometimes you just got to take it on the chin. And that has helped me a lot in my life, learning that sometimes you just got to take it on the chin.
Yeah.
Working with people who don't like you. Because when I was in ROTC, especially my freshman year, again, if you know, you know, they didn't really like little old me. that's also probably because I was just real nerdy.
Define nerdy. What do you mean? You had glasses?
No, that would have made it worse. If I would have had glasses, it'd be like, okay.
Hey. No, nothing wrong with glasses now.
Yeah, no, but the glasses would have
What, you
really
read a lot? You read a lot?
Yes, like I read books. I was that kid who was like, you told us that we had homework last night. Do you want it? Yes, that's what I mean.
Oh man, yeah. So you was that person.
Yes, I was that person. I did my work. I don't know about you, but I did mine. And you wasn't gonna cheat off me. You were not gonna cheat off me. So
how you cover your paper when you do that? Would you?
When you no, you can't look. What? Yeah, you're not cheating off me. I'm gonna tell.
Oh boy, that's funny. Okay, so I can see that. I can see you being a little disliked at first,
Yeah.
But I guess you grew on people, or maybe they grew on you. I don't know.
Yeah, I think eventually when people get to realize that I'm not putting on, that really is just my personality. I think people grow to love me because they're like, that's just Lakeland, bruh. She don't even mean no harm. She not even trying to be funny. That's just her.
That's your first name?
Yes, Lakeland.
I thought it was your last name. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I started, I thought you say your name because I wasn't sure that was your last name or first name. So I'm gonna let her say it first. So Lakeland, okay, that's your first name. Okay.
Yes. A lot of people think that's my last name.
Did they say why they named you that? They didn't say why? Or?
My mom let my cousin name me, and she said she just thought it was a pretty name for a pretty girl. Okay. So that was it.
And then all right, and so you and your senior in Cross Creek. Are you thinking about college? You thinking about military? What you think about?
So everybody, because you're in ROTC, everybody want to push the military, but I knew I didn't want to go to the military. Because they put it in your mind like, oh, they going to yell at you for real. And if they yell at you, you can't do nothing. And I was in my I'm grown bag, and you not finna yell at me. So I said.
So in school, if they yell at you, you can say, shut the fuck up or kiss
you can say something, but you going to get suspended. But I'll take a suspension. But in the real world, ain't no suspension.
Yeah. They going to yell more.
Yeah, and they really can give you real world consequences. So
yeah.
I was like, I'm not trying to do that. But I did take the ASVAB. I did prepare like I was gonna go, but I knew that's not what I wanted to do. I knew college was for me. So I started my first year at Georgia Military College here in Augusta. I stayed for a year. I got my degree in political science. So that's what I started out with at Georgia Military. I was there for a year. I had a great time. I think Georgia Military College is a great school for people who don't want big class sizes, but if you want quality education. Georgia Military really is a great college. Met some fantastic professors there to this day that I still talk to. So, yeah, went from Georgia Military College, transferred to Georgia State the following year. And I did not go to school. I went to Georgia State. The first 2, maybe 3 months, I went to class. I got up every day at 5:30, 6 in the morning, got myself ready, even though I didn't have class until 10. And I was really in my bag. After them 3 months was up, I was not going to class. I was everywhere else but class. And yeah, I had a great time in Atlanta.
I hear that a lot about my sister went there too. I don't know her background in it, but I hear a lot of story about going to Georgia State, and people at first they do well, and then I guess maybe Atlanta just consumes you because you start doing everything but going to class.
I don't even think it was that for me at first. It was really their class sizes are huge. I had a biology class of 120 people. Before my biology class had 25.
Yeah.
So I could talk to my professor, ask questions. And so I was really getting lost in the sauce because there's so many people and you can't all get to talk to your professor and they not trying to talk to 120 students. So for me, it was okay, that became a little bit overwhelming. And then my friends, I don't know, they was just girl, we finna go do X, Y, and Z. And even though it might have interfered with my class at that time, I was I can make that up. It's easy. And I never made it up. I never went to class. And and my friends was going to class.
Yeah, they made sure they went, right?
They was going, but they didn't know that I wasn't going to class.
What were you doing? You just laying in bed?
Some days I would lay in bed because honestly, I don't think enough people talk about it, but I was depressed. Like I went from Augusta, even though Augusta ain't little, it's little. Went from Augusta to Atlanta, and I didn't have nobody up there. And Georgia State is a really, really big school. And so trying to make friends can be a bit hard because that's like what 85,000 people on campus.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for you to make friends unless you join a club. And I'm not a club person. Like, why do I have to join this group for you to be my friend? Like, just be my friend. And so I was really depressed. Like, after those 3 months, I want to say like the next 6 months, I was really, really depressed.
And so, I mean, even with that, how long you stayed there at Georgia State?
I was at Georgia State for what, a year and a half? Yeah, I was at Georgia State for a year and a half, but I lived in Atlanta for like 7. So,
Damn.
Yeah. So
Well, you just came back then.
Yeah. Well,
Jeez.
let me not say just maybe 7, maybe might be too long. Maybe 5 because I came back in 2021, the end of 2021.
Okay. That's still a long time. Okay. And so, but you said you finished at Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
So you went from Georgia State to
I did.
SSU?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So
and what went into that decision? Like why that school?
So my godfather went to Savannah State. And with the whole thing of me going to school in Atlanta and all the highs and lows I was experiencing, he was like, I really think you should go to Savannah State. It'll be a really good school for you. You get the HBCU experience you want, but the school ain't too big, so you're not gonna get lost. I think you should go. And he kept telling me that for years, like 2-3 years. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna go. But COVID hit and I was working from home, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going back to Georgia State. Why not try Savannah State out to see if it works? And it did. Savannah State got my degree in political science with a minor in African American studies. Yeah, Savannah State, to me, it was real good to me. It still is. I love SSU. I love Savannah State, the school. Hate Savannah. Won't move back.
Well, let me ask you, because, and I'm just asking for people that's watching, political science, what does all that entail for a degree of that magnitude?
So that entails studying like the American Constitution. You study political theory. You study like what politics looks like in the real world. So yeah, and then because I took African American studies, I got to take African American in politics. I got to study African American media. Of course, African American history and what that looks like. Yeah, like I really got to learn a lot about what it looks like for politics here in America, and then what it looks like when you add race into politics.
Well, can you? I mean, you ain't gotta go in deep like a dissertation, but like, can you give me a synopsis of what you found? Some differences, maybe. It could be pros and cons. It could be pro, con. I don't care. I'm just trying to get a understanding of like, all right, you got politics and you got like African American politics or politicians, African American politicians. Like, what's some differences you've seen there? And even just approach. It could be the approach to politics or maybe how they're viewed.
I think some of the differences I found is like when African Americans enter politics, if they don't specifically say they're going to do things for Black people, then we automatically deem them not Black and or not working for Black people. Like, for instance, Barack Obama said he never came out and said, I'm going to do this specifically for Black people, but he did stuff that targeted Black people. But that wasn't good enough for a lot of Black people because they need to hear you say, I'm doing this only for Black people, which I think is unfair to a lot of Black politicians when you understand the nuance.
I think that's a good word right there, though. Like, and I don't know, I have none of the education you have on this, but I think unfair would be a good term for African American politics. Because if you don't, like you said, specify this is for y'all, I'm doing this for y'all, then it's like you ain't did nothing.
Yeah. And I think that's unfair because when you when you think about George Bush never came out and said, I'm going to do things specifically for white people. He just did stuff that targeted their communities, and nobody disowned him. Nobody said, oh, he's not working for the white people's agenda. And actually, we as black people were like, oh, we know he did that for white people. Oh, we know this. So we don't discredit him or say that he's any less white because he didn't. So the fact that we tell black people, oh, you're not black enough, or you're less black because you don't say these words, it's kind of asinine, and it discourages a lot of people because it makes them feel like I'm here trying to do the work. Like I'm really trying to get legislation passed so that I can impact your life or the quality of your life in a positive way. And that's not good enough for you because I didn't say the word black.
Well, yeah, I think too a big part of it is society norms too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was so normal to not have us in these seats or not have us in these positions. I talked to Jared one time, the first time I interviewed him, the DA.
Mm-hmm.
He Augusta first black DA, and I asked him how did that feel, and I expected a great answer, but he was like, being the first black anything is a lot of pressure because if you don't do it the way they expect you to do it, you ain't did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not about even about, but in the same breath now you got more than just black constituents.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't do nothing specifically for black people, it's like you ain't did nothing. So it's a lot of pressure being the first black of a politician or a DA or whatever, elected official, because they're expecting you to do something for them. Now you're in office, so all the things we complain about for hundreds of years, you got to fix in your 4-year term.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I understand like where that comes from when it comes us as black people. Like, so when you get to study African American history, you get to study things like African retentions. And so one of the things that we retained as African people is our need for community and how we interact in community. And what I mean by that is, if you see one of us, that one person represents the whole of us because we have a tribal mentality. Like if you see him, you see me because that's my brother. Yeah. And we're one and the same. And so I understand why we feel the way that we feel because like, if one of us makes it, we always say if one of us makes it, we all make it. So we feel that way, but that also, if one of us is doing the work, all of us ain't doing the work. So y'all want me to fix, or you want people to fix things in a short amount of time, but like y'all giving requests, but nobody really has the solution but that person in that seat. Yeah. And so it's challenging sometimes. It's challenging, but again, I understand. I think when you have the understanding, it's easier to give people more grace and to be empathetic and to not and to understand like it ain't about me. They not saying this to me, like they're talking to me, but it ain't got nothing to do with me. It's everything to do with whatever.
I knew that question would be loaded just because of how I asked it, but I also felt like with you having that background and studying it, you study all sides of it from the constituent standpoint of why they might feel that way, also from the politician standpoint of why they might feel what the pressure, or, if I don't do this, I ain't did all this stuff, versus just your average white man. This is like a white man's kind of society. Why they can do things and not get judged for. If they do get judged, we don't care.
Because it's only when you look at white people, they are judged individually. So one white person does something, like when we see people, no offense to my white brothers and sisters, but when we see people shooting stuff up, we don't assume that all white people shoot things up or all white people have an issue with mental health. We don't assume that. But if one black person steals from a store, now every black person is a thief. Yeah. If one Hispanic person does something, now all Hispanic people are evil. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that's the give and take. Like that's why I understand when black people feel like, oh, if you're in a seat, then you have to show up for all of us because that's the way that the society sees us.
Yeah, you represent us.
Yeah, but also like that perpetuates a negative ideology that like black people can't be standalone people. Like we have to represent the community, and that ain't fair.
I think it's cool that you said that because I think we play into that as well. Because I remember when around that time Trayvon Martin got killed, and it's like people didn't want to wear hoodies no more. We was like, don't wear a hoodie, don't wear a black hoodie. You know, like you kind of made that synonymous with Trayvon. So the black got all Skittles.
Yeah.
Don't wear hoodies with Skittles.
Or Arizona. Yeah.
Yeah, like so I definitely see it. But somebody like you who studied that background, you get to know the verbiage and stuff behind it. So I just thought that was cool to ask you that question. All right, and so like after COVID, of course, COVID come in. I don't know if it went or not, but COVID came and changed things, right? How'd you like with your political science degree? How'd you get into the politics here? And I asked that because initially, how I even how I'm assuming how we came across each other. I don't know if you knew me before this or not. I don't know, but I was on a live doing the Age Explained, and then you messaged me. But I seen you on a live, and when people have certain comments, I kind of could tell they got a background in it, and so I could tell that you were familiar with the Augusta politics. So I guess I'll start with there. You got to go. You can say what you want to say. I don't care. Okay. But like, what's your view on like the Augusta politics? And then we kind of build on that.
What's my view on Augusta politics?
Yeah. In any kind of simplicity form. You got to like break down this person, that person, but like just what you think of it.
Augusta is a good old boys club. That's what it is, simply. We are, if we're going to be honest, we know that the people who control the money control the commission. They control what gets voted on, what doesn't get voted on. And I think our politicians play into that because they would rather be reelected than do hard things and or say hard things, which is why I think we're in the position that we're in right now.
All right, hold on. I didn't think you'd come out swinging like that. That was a lot. That was a lot. I'm going to clap it up for you, though.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
I ain't too crazy about commissioners anyway, so like you saying that I know that I'm not tripping, but yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of it is come from people get in office, and this is not even African or white. Anybody, people get in office, and I feel like once they get there, they think, okay, well, how can I, one, stay around, and two, how can I move up? Absolutely. So they think about future things as well. But I be feeling like, this is my opinion, I feel like you can't do in the moment stuff thinking future stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you think about yourself for the future, but you're representing a bunch of a group of people in your district for that time being, and like how that fair to them when you think about the next 3-4 years. What can I do next to make more money?
And that's honestly what's happening when we talk about the budget right now. Like the commissioners that we have are afraid to make hard decisions because they're thinking about how do I keep my seat for the next 4 years? Because people are not going to want to hear we going to have to raise taxes. That's not how you get reelected, But do you want to get reelected or do you want Augusta to be better? Because if you want to get reelected, then by all means, we should keep the status quo. But if we're going to push Augusta forward, we need commissioners who going to make hard decisions, even if that means you don't get reelected next year. But as long as you put Augusta in a position to thrive, it shouldn't matter if you get reelected. Because you're gonna live here, so you're gonna experience the benefits.
That's what I think. But I also know people out for self, so it's kind of hard to when you think about politicians, commissioners rather too, because they are looked at as leaders for a district, not just commissioner. They are a leader for that district, and I feel like as a leader, if you can't make tough decisions, you shouldn't be a leader. That's actually like leadership 101. And in fact, I think that's the thing you got into. You got politics 101, right? Yeah. I think that's, as a leader, you got to make tough decisions. That's just what it comes down to. But I feel like with every tough decision, all you should have to do after that is just explain the why behind your decision making. So if you say, hey, I want to raise taxes, whatever, this is why. Maybe you got a 10-year plan, 5-year plan for the city of Augusta. And if you explain that, cool. If they don't rock with it, they don't rock with it. But at least you told them why. It's not like you got to, we in our society now, you don't have to, you can vote for something, and then after you vote that day, you go home, you go live, and you can say, hey, this is why I voted for that. Yeah. And call it a day. Yeah. You ain't got to call it Chronicle no more. You gotta, or you got all these platforms, like you here, we got all these platforms you can talk to and explain your why. They just shouldn't have to do that. I don't know why, they just don't want to.
They don't want to because you have to be accountable to people now. Because okay, so they can come and say, this is the decision I made. People who disagree with it, now they're going to come ask you, well, why would you do that? So it's like now you gotta be accountable, and either you gonna stand 10 toes down or you gonna fold on your decision. And a lot of times they fold because if we gonna be honest, the budget discussions that we're having, the votes that they're making right now, like voting against the NGOs and voting to cut voting not to cut certain things, that was not their vote before. Before, the conversation was completely different. The conversation was simply to give the sheriff's office more money. We're gonna have these cuts, and that was it. But now they're changing their tune. Now they don't want to raise taxes. Now they want to cut NGOs. Now they want to do all of these things because people paying attention.
Yeah, probably, and this is just me just saying it. I don't really even feel like they personally don't want to quote unquote raise taxes.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to get reelected.
Yeah, but they know their constituents don't want to hear raise taxes, and so to your point, they do want to get reelected. Yeah. But when we're talking about the budget here in Augusta, there are very few things that we can do. And one of those things will have to be to raise taxes. But one of the ideas that Administrator Allen floated by the commission that I think they overlooked was this idea of a floss. So we know what a floss is. It's a special tax. It's a 1% tax on all of our sales. And if we approve a SPLOST, that 1% sales tax goes towards whatever we put in the SPLOST. Same thing for a floss. But a floss is specifically to alleviate the pressure of property taxes for taxpayers. So, yes, if we raise the millage rate, property taxes will go up. But with the floss, it will balance it out so people aren't feeling so much heat from that. Mm-hmm. And that was an option for the commissioners. They haven't agreed to that, but they're looking at initiating a SPLOST, giving all of these different departments all this money. But those departments, we clearly know that these departments need a little bit more structure, a little bit more defining, a little bit more fine tweaking before we decide to just give these people hundreds of millions of dollars.
So, and you speak from an educated background, knowing your stuff. For the constituent that may be watching this or that tries to watch the meetings, that's another thing. You said you watch the meetings, right? Mm-hmm. Let's state the meetings real quick first. Talk about your experience watching those meetings. I watched a few. I tried. I get upset. I get a little irritated because I be seeing a lack. Earlier you mentioned professionalism. I wrote it down. Mm-hmm. You said something about JRTC and being taught that. And I'm thinking these people are 35, 40, 45, 50, 60. And I see a lack of professionalism up there, lack of respect for constituents, one another. Mm-hmm. I think the worst part of, like I said, when I watch the commission meetings, but I can't watch no more, is when the people, the constituents get to come up and say their piece, and then you watch them. Like, I know for a fact, you got to do it a week ahead. I know a little bit, so you got to do a week ahead, put your stuff and get approved. Okay, cool. You can come to the board, you can talk. Okay, cool. That Tuesday, you go up there, you wait until last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you getting your stuff ready. You go up there to that podium, you talk. All the commissioners there watching you. They looking at you, you saying your stuff. You probably think you going crazy. You saying good stuff too. And they're like, okay, is that it? All right, that's it. Yeah. And that's all you get. I feel like that's highly disrespectful. I waited 5 days to come up here and tell y'all my frustrations or what I think can change, and I don't get no feedback at all. I just feel like to me, it's disrespectful. I don't like it. But when I start seeing it, I can't watch it because then I'm like, damn, these people we voted for. What's your experience like watching these meetings?
The same feelings you have, frustrating. But for me, commission meetings are fun. Like how people look at Sunday night football. That's how I view these commission meetings. I be in there like, that's crazy. Did you just hear that? So for me, I enjoy them, but they are very frustrating because, to your point, they do kind of dismiss constituents. Well, dismiss certain constituents.
Certain ones, yeah.
Because I've been in the room where there have been constituents coming up there voicing their opinions about how they don't want this in their neighborhood. And they listen and they have discussions about it. And they wait for those people to finish saying their piece and then they leave instead of dismissing them. Dismissing them and making them feel like, oh, we heard what you said, but anyway, that's not important. They treat certain people certain ways.
It's like you said, I think you said good old boy, but I think that to that mentality too is like, I don't mind saying his name because we were cool. I've seen Ben Hassan come up there and talk and they don't disrespect him at all. I just like certain people they know not to disrespect.
it's not even that. Like, if you were a part of politics in
At one
Augusta,
point, yep.
at one point, they gonna give you that respect just because I guess it's like some type of brotherhood or whatever you want to call it. But it shouldn't be that way because regular residents, you don't give them that same energy. And not only that, but I personally feel like the fact that we have commission meetings on a Tuesday at 2:00, you already you set the tone there, letting me know that you don't want people involved.
Right.
Because if you did, why would you have it on a Tuesday on a 2:00? Because and then if people do want to speak, they either gotta make sure that Tuesday that they're off, or they gotta request time off for their job. And then who knows, the commission meeting may start late, or they may decide, oh, that's not the agenda we're gonna look at today. We're gonna look at another agenda. And so you have all of these barriers put in place to keep people from being able to come up to make public comment, to be able to look at their commissioners and say, I don't like that you're doing this. And that's strategic. They do that to keep people, not just Black and brown people, but just poor people, marginalized people in general. They do that to keep people from being involved. Because if you're poor, you at work on a Tuesday at 2:00. And if you're not, you're sitting in those commission meetings on Tuesday at 2:00. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the people there are retired. They are older, so they have the time to show up. And those are the people whose voices are getting heard, which is why we get mad that we see a lot of, like when they do rental assistance for older people, it's because they're there voicing their opinions. They're there to show up and say, we need these resources. Not saying we shouldn't give rental assistance to our elderly, because they definitely need that. But when they were doing rental assistance this summer, they gave it to the elderly first. And then when they had it for that one day and everybody was standing in line, only like 20 people got help. That's because they weren't putting emphasis on helping all of Augusta. They were just focusing on the elderly because those are the people who show up to the commission meetings. And so it's all by design.
I do want to add, though, and just not that you was saying anything wrong, but I also want to add, like, even if you're not poor, if you making money, you're probably at work at Tuesday at 2 as well.
Yeah.
And a person that making money ain't about to stop just to come to this meeting.
Yeah.
You know? And just like a person that's poor ain't gonna take off work. So it's like designed for nobody to be there. They just want to talk and get their stuff off. So normally you have people that's older and that, or if you're not working, maybe you're not educated enough to know how stuff go, and that's how they're able to overtalk or just dismiss certain people. So I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say. You mentioned that you said you watch it and it's like Friday night football to you, Monday night football to you. I think that it's probably like that with you. I think the more you know, the more interesting the meetings are because you know a lot of ins and outs, and that's whether you know a commissioner, so y'all speak other things, whether you watch it for a long time, so you know previous meetings that was said or previous votings that was had, and then you see somebody have a certain stance, like that's crazy. You have that stance because you voted off this last time. So I think the more you know, the more interesting that meeting can get because it's almost like you watching a soap opera.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's why I think more people are paying attention to what's happening in Augusta now around the budget. Because when people are starting to find out, like, oh, this is what the sheriff's office is really asking for, or this is what the cuts really mean. When people have that information, more people they're able to understand, like, oh, this is what it looks like on a simplistic level on how it impacts me. And so I do, to your comment, I do agree that the more people know, the more the more interesting, I guess, it is. But for me, I also do know that there's a certain level of interesting it will get to certain people. Like, most people ain't gonna wanna.
I'm not gonna say her name because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But I had interviewed someone who worked in that in that realm, had a really high position. We took it out. I remember them saying, like, you know, somebody had asked that person one particular time, how do you work with Augusta politics? Because in the surrounding communities, whether it's Charlotte or Atlanta or South Carolina, they look at Augusta politics like a circus. And I didn't at that moment it didn't hit because I didn't know about politics like enough yet. And the more I interview more people, I talk about more things, I read up on more things, I say, damn, you know what? I can see it now. Because it's no way we making these decisions. It's almost like it's for entertainment purposes. And so, when you in these meetings, especially with your background and you watching how things unfold, what do you take from that as someone who's educated enough to even understand the verbiage,
Hmm.
the decision making, and the arguments or lack thereof?
It's very frustrating because a lot of times people try to, when they focus on one thing, they they miss everything that's happening. And so when you're sitting in those commission meetings, you get to see all the systems that are at play at one time. And it's very frustrating because when you're trying to talk about one thing, you trying to sum up all of these systems to put them into one succinct point can be a little frustrating because when people hear me say we should not give more money to the sheriff's office, people take that as I'm against the sheriff or I don't
Mhm.
like him. Actually, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Augusta has the second highest rate of recidivism here in the state, the second highest. And it can't be because people in Augusta are more likely to commit a crime than somewhere else in the state. Can't be that, you know? But it's the systems that we're playing into the school to prison pipeline, which is why so many of
Mm,
our kids are in YDC
mm,
because we're training them up to go to jail. So when we're talking about the sheriff's office budget, it's not I don't want you to have money just because, it's because I know what happens when you give money into the prison industrial complex and you don't invest into youth programs. I know what you're actually
mm,
saying, and I know how you're setting them up for failure. And you're letting me know that you are more about business than you are about community, because putting more people in jail equals more money for the city,
mm.
equals more money for the sheriff's office budget. So when I'm sitting in these commission meetings and I hear stuff like we need more money, you need more money, but y'all don't want to invest into youth programs. You need more money, but there are no mentoring programs connected to the city. You need more money, but people out here ain't got nothing to eat. You know what I'm saying? And our food banks have already said that they are overwhelmed, but we're gonna give more money to the sheriff's office, and all of these system come into play. Poor people, if you're criminalizing, you're gonna start criminalizing poor people because if they don't have something to eat and they're hungry, what they gonna do to get something to eat?
Mhm.
They
Yep.
gonna take that. And now because they just needed something to fill their belly, you're taking them down the road instead of giving them a box of food.
That's the irony of everything you're saying is I had Priscilla on
Mm-hmm.
a week or two ago, or something like that. And she was here as just being her, not
Mm-hmm.
for who she worked for, but who she worked
Mm-hmm.
for. So with that thing you said, if you know, you know,
Yeah,
it's
if
like
you know,
there we
you know.
go. I finally figured out how to use it. There we go. No, but she said the same thing. She
Mm-hmm.
was like, if somebody's hungry, they go to the store, they steal some bread,
Mm-hmm.
they get caught stealing bread, they get locked up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the fight you having. But when you say all the systems at one play at one at this at play at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
I think of that as well. Like that's kind of the pipeline they're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
or they I ain't saying looking for it, but they manipulate that pipeline.
Yeah.
And so,
And and my problem with the commissioners is that you cannot tell me that you don't understand those systems
mhm,
because you have inside knowledge. You know more about the city of Augusta than anybody else does.
hopefully,
Oh, hopefully, you should know
yeah.
because you are privy to information that we're not. So you can't tell me, as somebody who's just a constituent, a resident sitting in these commission meetings, and I see them at play, you can't tell me that you don't, or that you don't understand what we're saying when we say don't divest from youth or divest from communities. You
Mm.
can't tell me you don't know what that means. You do. You just don't care.
I agree. I definitely agree. And then also I think talking to you, like I said, I can definitely tell you've done your due diligence. You got your background. You watch. You listen. You take notes. I want to kind of switch gears a little bit. I think people know you know your stuff now. You was cooking a minute ago too. I ain't gonna lie. They might ask me to take it down. I don't know. No, but you got a event coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Politics 101
Yes.
listening session, right?
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit. All the people involved and what's the goal for this event?
Okay. So our Politics 101 is essentially going to be about what we are talking about, the commission, what is a commission, what makes up a commission, how they make the decisions, and what a budget looks like, and how to make public comment. So the main sponsor of this event is Community Change. They are an organization that is based out of Atlanta. And the reason why they're doing work in Augusta is because they see the landscape here that's in Augusta. They know that there are organizations out here doing the work. And so they essentially just want to come in, kind of build up the leaders who are already doing the work here in Augusta so that they can eventually just simply fund us to do all the work without having to go to Atlanta to get the money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we got a community change, and then we're working with Georgia Shift. That is an organization here in Augusta that focuses on giving young people a seat at the table. We got Black Male Initiative, where they work specifically around Black men, their mental health, and reducing barriers for Black men as they exist in society. And then you have Renforce, my organization. Yep, shout out to
Clapping up for y'all,
Renforce. Yep. We're an all Black woman-led team down at Renforce. At Renforce, we work with justice-impacted individuals, so people who've been incarcerated, people who have had some type of conviction, whether misdemeanor or felony, and their family and friends. We help them with workforce development, so we help people get jobs. And we don't just help you get jobs like, no shade to like McDonald's or anything like that. We want to get you jobs where employers may not necessarily have hired you previously. So we make those connections on the back end with places like Davis Appliance or AIS or Marriott. And we put people there who might have gotten a no because of their background previously.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's what we do. We do that. We have our own women's home. Where we help women who are re-entering society. We give them somewhere to stay because there ain't no transitional homes here in Augusta for women outside of.
Is there one? I'm asking because it used to be one on Mary Street a long time ago.
Yeah, that ain't there no more. The only one I think is with Dismiss. Or,
yeah.
That's the only one that they have. And so we have a lot of women who are returning who need somewhere to stay. So we have that going on. And we just do a lot of work in the community, supporting people, helping them reduce the barriers, find housing, find jobs, find childcare, whatever it is people need to not just survive, but to thrive. So those are the organizations who are a part of the event. But the event is situated around community, situated around what's happening in Augusta so that people can be more engaged and involved. We believe that when people are educated about what's happening, people will show up. And so we want to prove to people that Augusta will show up, especially when we give them the tools and resources to show up.
And this is on the December 17th.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a Wednesday?
Yep, December 17th, which is a Wednesday, from 6 to 7:30.
I think so. Just to go back to what you said earlier, I think the coolest thing about the time is the 6, so people get off work.
Mm-hmm.
So just and I just want to create that difference between like a meeting that people want you there versus not wanting you there.
Yeah.
This is 6 to 7:30, so it's when you get off work, you can unwind, and come here and get your education. And
you can bring your kids. We're gonna have like a little kids corner, so you ain't got to worry about them babies running around. But we'll have stuff for them as well. So
and it's at the Kroc Center.
It's gonna be at the Kroc Center. 6 to 7:30, Wednesday, December 17th. We're gonna have food there, so if you don't want to cook dinner that night and you want to come, please come get some food. We also will have prizes and giveaways.
It's free.
And all of it's free.
All you have to do is lead off with this. It's free. It's free.
It's free.
And it's food there.
That's emphasize it's free and there's food there. All we ask is that you register ahead of time just so we can get a head count of how much food to have.
And so just for you, like, what is your a goal when you have an event like this? Like, how are you envisioning it before it happens? What you want? A lot of people there? Is it the amount of people or is it the amount of knowledge I give it? Like, what matters to you?
I think it's both. I think if we're gonna be honest, numbers matter, and we want at least 50 to 60 people to show up, because, like I said, that does matter. That it matters to the people who gonna fund us, if we're gonna be honest. But also it matters because I believe that if we get 50 to 60 people in a room, that's 50 to 60 more individuals who are knowledgeable. And more than likely, those 50 to 60 people are going to share that knowledge with 2 to 3 more people just off strength. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that leads to possibly 180 more people who are knowledgeable. And that 180 going to turn into 256. And we're going to keep adding to that. because we're going to keep doing these events, keep doing doing listening sessions. We have an event coming up in January to kind of piggyback off of this event so that we can get people. We don't just want to inform you about politics here in Augusta, but we want to get you engaged, which means our next event in January is going to talk about how you can get engaged, how you can show up, how do you talk to your commissioners. And these will be ongoing events so that people will know, like, this is where I can go to get the information, and these are the people I can go to who can help me figure out what I need to do next for whatever that is.
I do got a few more questions I want to ask. Like with this, when because you've been around this for a minute, how where do you think the difficulty come from when people may not come to the event? Like, you promoting it, you promoting it, you promoting it, you promoting it, you put it out, and then people don't show up. What, in your experience, is the why behind that? What barriers are they facing to not show up for this? Versus, I mean, of course, it's not knowing because they might not know, but outside of not knowing, like, in your background, what has been some reasons why people don't show up to things like this when they don't have the knowledge and they can just gain that?
If we're gonna be completely honest, I think a lot of people don't show up because people have not been engaged around this for real, for real. Like, only time we want people, especially in Augusta, to show up when we're talking about politics or voting is around election season.
Yeah.
That's the only time we want people to show up. And people done got hip to that. They're tired of just showing people just knocking on their door when you need them to go vote for something. Because people are not seeing how their vote matters, how it shows up. And so they don't want to hear that, And so I think a lot of people are just like, man, here go another event where people gonna ask me to vote again, or they gonna ask me to do something that's gonna benefit them and it ain't gonna benefit me. And so I found that's why a lot of people don't show up. But that's why we're doing these events. We've been doing listening sessions this whole year, actually.
Yeah, I think just not even being biased. I just feel like this year has been the most. I've seen the most sessions where it's like people or entities are trying to educate the constituents on what's going on, or even just educate themselves where they're asking the constituents, "Hey, what's wrong in the community?" I've been to like maybe 10 of them just since July till now, and it wasn't election time. It just them just gaining information as to like, okay, what's some things you want us to change? What's some things that you don't like in your community? And then you might get knowledge of like, that's not a commissioner thing. That's something bigger. Or the issue you might have with Trump, it's not a Trump thing. That's your commissioner thing. So you gain that knowledge as well. This year was the most I've seen. I've seen a bunch of different entities do it though.
The reason why that's happening is because the current political landscape, people are starting to realize now a lot of what's going to happen in politics will have to happen at the local level. A lot of times we focus on the president, we focus on the Senate, but we are realizing that a lot of stuff will have to happen locally. So that is why you see a lot of people priming residents locally, which is good, which I'm glad that we're doing, and that's the realization we come to. Which is why here in Augusta, throwing events like this, having our listening sessions, having spaces where people can show up, become informed, and not just get knowledge, but walk that knowledge out.
Yeah.
The reason why we're doing that is because we want people to know that, like, this information that we're giving you isn't just information for you to have around election season. This is information for you to show up every Tuesday at your commission meeting if you have the opportunity to, or this is how you lobby your commissioner. Like, these are things that we want to do that affect people locally, so people know we're not asking you to vote. I'm not asking you to register to vote. I'm not asking you to pick your favorite candidate. We literally are simply here just to inform you so that you know who your commissioners are, what they do, how they do what they do, and why they do what they do.
I wanted to ask, just in a sense of like the event, would y'all or are y'all planning to have it where it's going to be live, or it just got to be in person? And I ask that for a reason, just because I know some people, like I said, they might work from home, so some people don't leave the house. they just stay home all day. So is that something y'all looking into for the future, this one, or just because even with wanting 50 to 60 signups, I feel like if you can do it where you can add the live plus the physical, and people can say they here, and that's like kind of or register online as I'm gonna watch it online. That'll help as well because we in the day and age now where even the commissioner meetings are online now, so you can watch it live. You don't have to actually go there.
Yeah.
You just can't engage.
Yeah.
Besides the comments that they're not gonna read anyway. So
Yeah. If I'm not, let me not say we're gonna go live, but I believe that is one of the things that we are looking to do, which is to go live so that people can show up online. But we still need you to register though,
Definitely,
because that also gives us your contact information. So when we do have other events, we can shoot them to your email or shoot them to your phone. So still register still.
and also, and you mentioned like you said, numbers matter. I just want to make sure that even the statistics of like having the information it matter. Granted, it's not to blast you with who you're gonna vote for, but it is to inform you sometimes. Like, hey, it is time to vote because people they be so busy they don't watch the news all the time, or if they watch it anymore at all because you don't have to watch the news no more because you got so many news platforms now. So yeah, I thought of that, and I was thinking about the live thing just because, like I said, I know. I can't speak for my other partner in there, but I know with the AJ playing, we go live every week now, and it seems like that's something people are tuned into. But I feel like I had been told this when we first started doing it. I said at some point we're gonna have some entities, communities, or organizations reach out to us because of the platform.
Yeah.
And I think it's easier to get a count there because people already tuned in every week anyway.
Yep.
You know, so it's just something I was thinking about, and that's when you talk about like. All these different entities going and play at once. At least that'd be a good one. It'd be a positive play where it's like, hey, you get positive here anyway, so let's just hear it out. You know, I'm not trying to push one candidate on you. I'm just trying to push knowledge on you. It's the same thing we've been doing. So that's something to think about. But yeah, I just thought about that because some people don't go outside at all.
Yeah.
You know, but to go to the grocery store, if that.
Yeah. I used to be one of them people, so I understand.
Yeah, definitely. So this is December 17th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Kroc Center, 1833 Broad Street, RSVP. The scan code, I'm gonna have to send me the scan code or something. I don't know. But you got flyers and stuff too, though. So, and then if they wanted to, as watching this, whatever, they want to reach out to somebody, who they reach out to, whether it's email or phone number or something.
If y'all are watching this, you can reach out to me directly. I'll give you my email. My email is Lakeland, so LAKELAND, Lakeland at Renforce, and it's spelled RENFORCE.org. Yeah, it's .org.
Got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Lakeland at Renforce.org. Again, Renforce is spelled RENFORCE. You can also reach me by text or call. If you're going to call me, text me first, please. Thank you. But you can reach me at 762-867-9514. Again, you can reach me at 762-867-9514. And again, if you're going to call me, please text me first because I will not answer. I will just look at that phone.
I'm done, but I did want to say one thing. You said something earlier. I wrote it down. I wanted to make sure I say this. I thought your explanation of sploss and floss. I never heard of floss though, but that was really good. I just think that for so long people have seen sploss and not know what it meant, and I learned that this year. I'm not gonna lie, I had like 7 sploss shirts in black and white. It just was good shirts to wear. Never knew what it meant. I just wore it because it was a shirt. And when I found out what it meant and what it entailed, I talked to a guy named Tyrone Butler. I just put the episode out last night. A guy named Tyrone Butler who started Augusta Mini Theater. And he started in 1975. And he was saying he never got any SPOS funds until 2000 or something. He never even knew it existed. He never knew he can get money from the city because of what he was doing was considered like the arts department of the city. And now he renovated like he got a whole new theater coming out. I think next month it's going to open up. It's a nice big theater though. It looks really, really good. And how that goes into like, that could have been something for the community. This is Dean Bridge talking about. This is the Josie area.
Yeah.
And had he been able to do that earlier, who knows what lives he could have saved or, what crime couldn't happen because somebody may have played they had to act for or study for versus being outside doing whatever to get whatever. So. And
also like how many more people before him was able to get SPLOS because they knew about it.
Because they knew about it, yep.
So, yeah.
You know what? It's funny. We kept saying African-American politics and stuff. It took us being in office and him seeing somebody in a grocery store, and they said you could just get SPLOS. He was like, what is that?
Yeah.
He had been doing his own for so long, and now he finally got it. And when he got approved, he was like, yeah, they approved. He said a percentage, but the number was something different. The percentage was real small. So I'm thinking like it's nothing. He was like, yeah, it's about $400,000. I'm like, dang, $400,000.
But see, this goes to my theory around a cohesive 100. So you know how people used to talk about the talented 10th and the untalented 90th. I have this concept of the cohesive 100. I don't think that either one is better than the other. That argument that W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T were having, to me, was kind of outrageous at the time. But because I do think, one, the talented 10th, we gotta be honest with people. Yes, there are people who have privilege, and that allows you to go to college and to be in certain spaces. It is your job as that talented 10th to bring that knowledge and experience back to your community. Because now that I know what a floss is, everybody in the city gonna know what a floss is. Yeah. Because now that I know how commission meetings work, everybody gonna know how commission meetings work. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that people need to, that's why they keep us out of spaces, because Black people talk a lot. We do.
Yeah, definitely do.
We talk too much, actually. But that's good for us because we share information with one another. And so I think us going into these rooms and going into these spaces, we have to understand, like, that's just not for you. It's for you to go back and share it with your community. Same thing for people we consider the untalented 90. If them people who work at Walmart, them people who work fast food, they have more real world knowledge than somebody who went to college, if we're going to call a spade a spade. Yep. And so both of those groups of people can work together. And so to sum all this up, people getting that SPLOS money, now that he knows that you can get SPLOS money, now other people should know these are the steps that I took to go get that SPLOS money. Or these are the SPLOS packages that they're putting together in the upcoming year. This is what you can ask for. So don't let your privilege allow you to just be the only person with that information.
Nah, definitely. I agree. I think I'm gonna clap it up for you, man. This is good talking to you too. I think that you did a great job. Was you nervous at all? No, not really. You didn't seem like it.
No, not really. I thought I was gonna be, but no, not really.
Why you thought so?
Because I be trying not to say stuff.
Now you had a little minute where you were cooking, and I wrote down cooking. I said, right, put this out, use this. But no, I think I don't think you said nothing that ain't been said already.
Yeah.
You might have just broke it down a little bit better than some people that, if you there. But no, I don't think you said that was wrong. I do think this event would be a good event. I always tell people, if you can go to these kind of events, go to them. If you learn one thing, that's one thing you didn't know before. But it takes you going continuously. On the flip side of what we say, people only do stuff around voting time. I think you got to get knowledge as a constituent all year round until you don't get knowledge just 8 weeks or 4 weeks or 2 weeks or the day of voting.
Yeah.
But when I talk about SPLOS or just things of that nature, you think about how many times a lot of constituents around here voted on these things that we knew nothing about.
Yeah.
So imagine how it's probably not hard because it's not you and it's not me, but like a person that just don't know about, even before you go and vote and like going to see what the ballot is.
Yeah.
And then finding out, okay, let me get information on this ballot, whatever, right? Somebody that's just going there, like, I wonder what makes them choose yes or no. After reading this paragraph that got like mad policies in there that you know nothing about, and then they ask the question at the end. And like, so it makes me wonder, like, how good of a job we're doing as a society to teach people things before they go vote, or we just ask them to go out there. Because just going out there ain't not enough. Yeah. You can go out there and you can vote wrong. Or you can vote against what you actually believe. So
when I was in college, one of the things they teach you about politics is that most people are dumb. No, genuinely, that's what they teach you. Most people are dumb. I don't believe that. I actually believe the opposite. But people approach politics with the idea that most people are dumb. So they don't give them information that will actually benefit them. They give them enough information to push them to the ballot box, but not enough information to know what they're doing. Because if they knew what they was voting for, they'd say no. Like, if people found out, oh, wait, I pay for SPLOS, it's not just something we get, it's a sales tax that I got to pay for. And to be quite honest, poor people pay more into like programs like that than rich people do, because most poor people spend most of their money out of their pocket. So yeah, they don't want. Yeah, they ain't gonna tell you nothing that's gonna help you at the ballot box. They ain't gonna tell you what a SPLOS is. They ain't gonna write it down in layman terms. we giving money to these departments to do this. Is that cool?
Yeah.
That's all a SPLOST is, but they ain't gonna tell you that.
No, they not. I agree with everything you said, and I think even I'm not saying every politician is like that, but you know, you got a lot of them that manipulate you. You know, because in politics, one thing I learned is you can tell your side of the story and make it sound like it's the best decision ever made until somebody with the knowledge asks you a few more questions, and then you're like, okay, well, you know, because it's so many other entities playing to other entities. Like you could say, for instance, the mayor when he got the vote or whatever it came to be. I understood the reason why he had wanted to vote me. I might didn't agree with that. I understood why, but then when you know the story of like how he went about it, that's the problem. It's not even the fact you got to vote. It's like how you went about it. It's like had you just went through the proper channels and did everything without sneaking, it'd be fine. But now I don't want y'all to vote because you snuck to get it, you know? So it's just stuff like that. But I feel like when he explained it, he's not going to explain it that way. It takes, I don't want to say anybody's name, it takes other commissioners to come on here and say, no, this is what happened.
Yeah.
This is why I don't like it.
Yeah.
The initial idea is fine. It's just, why did you do it this way? And then what does that mean going forward? If you did it this way now, the things you voting on now, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it opens your eyes to like the real way things work amongst those 10/11 people that got to vote.
You see that on the national level in politics now. Like, you can see something put out in American media to be presented one way, but then you have people who are like, nah, this is what actually happened. And so it adds that nuance and you're like, oh, okay. So, yeah.
One thing I say, and I'm with this, people just be careful too, because I will say this, it's a lot of times you see stuff and then somebody go on TikTok and explain it and it's all wrong. They explain it totally wrong, but they're making you feel like whatever initially they talking about is wrong, but they're wrong too. So you gotta make sure you get your information from the right people.
Yes.
So I try to talk to the players if I can, but I like that when we go live, you get a lot of commissioners that's on there, even though they don't like pop in, they just say one little thing and leave. But I do like that they're watching because it lets me know that a good conversation is being had, enough for them to go to their meeting that they don't like going through, but sit through ours as well. So I thought that was cool. So.
Yeah, and I'm seeing how y'all have engaged the community around like just local politics, and not even just local politics, but what's happening in Augusta. I think that's dope because before we just had Augusta Press or Augusta Chronicle and things like that. People ain't reading that no more. So y'all being able to be a news source that is easily accessible. I think that's dope, especially it being run by young people too. I think that's real dope.
The last question I have for you is, but you having a background in, you said even black media, what advice would you give to us who would be considered that right now as far as like our breakdown of news topics or how we speak of news topics? Like, what advice could you give to us from your background?
To not be biased, and not saying that anyone is, but I think that a lot of times we got to start searching for the story ourselves and stop letting people give us stories, because they're going to give you a biased explanation of their story. And if you're not careful, you'll go with their biased explanation as the foundation of your story and build from there. So like, be careful who you getting your information from, and always be clear of who you getting your information from. Yeah. It's nothing wrong with saying like this person is a good elected official. You might like them in their elected official capacity, but also know like, but personally they be lying though. Like they lie. So being honest and keeping that in the forefront and understanding that, so that when you interact with these people, where you getting your information from, you can understand like what they're saying sound good, but also they giving it from this perspective.
Yeah, so, that's what I was saying. I don't think it's even lying per se. I think it's just a one-sided story, and you don't want to go into a conversation feeling like that person got the right side of the story. So yeah, man, I appreciate you coming through. Definitely, I'm gonna put this out. You're welcome. And Water Masters Podcast, we out.
All right.